Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Hey everybody, how's it going? Dan Shinder here on Drum Talk TV. I hope you're doing well. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm Dan on Drum Talk TV, coming to you from Globe, Arizona, 100 miles east of Phoenix. My guest today is my buddy Oded Kafri in Hamburg, busker extraordinaire, drummer extraordinaire, looper extraordinaire, musician, composer, all around crowd getting adrenaline pumped extraordinaire. Oded, how are you?
Whoa, Dan, thank you for this kind introduction. I'm actually doing very, very well.
Great.
Very glad for the invitation. It's a very special day for me, and I tell you later why.
Absolutely. And I'm so happy to have you on. It's been a while since we did this. It was at the NAM show, I think
Yeah,
4 years ago. I think 4 years ago.
could very much be.
2016. Yeah. And folks, if you're not familiar with Oded's playing, I want to play something before you go back beyond the drums. I want to play a little bit of your Smooth Criminal video. I'm going to play a little
Cool.
bit of that, then we'll talk about that. We'll talk about looping and working with acoustic drums, electronics, and all that jazz. So, folks, check this out. Here it comes.
You've been struck by a smooth criminal. Struck by a smooth criminal. And are you okay? We can dance. Are you okay?
All right, we don't want to blow the whole wad. I love that piece. So, Oded, I've seen you do so many things, and that was something that was probably the most different of everything. And folks, tell us where you're watching from. Tell us how the audio is. Oded, after we talk about, he's got to jump beyond the kit and play for a while and demonstrate how he works with looping and stuff. But how did that project come about?
Which project exactly, Dan? I
Oh,
got many
sorry, the
projects.
Smooth Criminal.
Ah, that's a good one. This is a Corona result. I been like everyone in lockdown and started to invest time and energy at my private studio. And I was very lucky to be assisted by a very talented sound engineer from Israel named Josh Schatz. And he helped me to kind of, let's say, orchestrate and how to put my studio together, how to be ready to do live session as this one with you. And we started to do video clips. So this song, this cover for from MJ was ready in my computer for a long time. And I said, you know what, I will play it and I will record it. So I record it, 2 cameras, I've sent it to Jonathan, he did the mix, and then we posted, and it was nice,
It's
nice vibes.
it's great. And on that setup, you had your classic water bottle.
It's true.
In the very first video I saw of you, folks, if you missed it, we posted it about 45 minutes ago. If you're watching this on the archive, just look up Oded Kafri London. we posted the video of you busking in London, and that was the very first video I ever saw of you. In fact, I didn't see the video first. I saw a photo first on Google Images. I don't remember how or why. And then someone said, oh, I know who that is. He busks all over. His name is Oded Kafri. I looked you up, and the rest is history. Just fell in love with your playing and your personality and everything. But how'd the water bottle come up, and how many water bottles did you go through before you said, that's the water bottle for my set?
The water bottle was a revelation. I was a young man in Paris. I was 18 years old, and I was into jazz and jazz rock. And one day I saw a crazy Iranic drummer named Cyril Atef playing on all kind of percussion, and one of them was water bottle, and it blew my mind. And then I didn't play on it. And then years later, I say, you know what? I wanna test the water bottle. And then the water bottle became some kind of but we both use it, Cyril and me. We use it in different ways. And I think also interesting is the story about how did I start to busk in London and why. I was a session musician in Israel until I was 32 years old. And then I decided that I'm going to move to London. I didn't know where to, I didn't know how to, who I'm going to meet, how I'm going to earn living. And London was and still a tough place to get integrated as a musician. So many talented people, such a huge competition, and not such a big industry. In the end of the day, it's the UK, but it's in a way it's an island, so it's tricky. Of course you can work, but it takes time. Everywhere takes time. And I didn't have time. I was 32, I had to earn a living. And I was sending emails to people, knocking on doors. Nobody answered you, It's like a national sport not to answer your email. I don't know. So, yeah.
A national sport to not answer
yeah.
email. My wife will love that one.
or you get an answer, 7 months later from a promoter. Oh, thanks for the letter. We like your project. Maybe in another 7 years.
Right.
So one gray morning, I was lucky to play on a Jewish wedding band, and we drove to Manchester, and I played Sunday and I played Tuesday. And Monday I had a day off, and I said to my friend Omri Shai, I say, Omri, I wanna put my drums and play in the street. He said, okay, let's do it. And I was sure that I will be stopped, but no, I was not stopped. People surrounded me. Apparently it was the best place I chose. It was a designated busking area in Manchester, which is called Piccadilly Garden. I will never forget that.
Yeah.
And I played, and people are gathering, and people are contributing some funds, and a policeman come, and I said, okay, this is it. But he said, no, we have a mother who tried to make her baby fall asleep. Please just move 30 meters. And he shakes my hand.
What a story.
Yeah. So that was life-changing. And then I started to travel all around the UK. It was a very exciting time.
And what made you move to Hamburg?
5 years after I was in England, I had a problem with my visa. I had to go back to Israel. This was a very challenging time. But then after a year in Israel, I decided that I need to keep traveling. So, you know what? That's why I told you it's a very important day. By the way, do you see me and hear me well? Everything is okay?
Yes, it's great.
Great. So I think that my cousin Jerry and me, we arrived to Hamburg 6 years ago, exactly today, 27th of July. Why do I remember it? Why do I remember it? Because tomorrow, the 28th of July, is my birthday.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to be 44. And
I sort of remember 44, sort of.
No, do you? And I remember it. And we arrived to Hamburg, and Hamburg have this vibe of like Anglo-Saxon. I played in the street, and the police was loose, and I was like, I didn't know I'm going to move here. But because I couldn't go back to the UK, I started to come back to Hamburg. And then I met my girlfriend, who's the mother of my daughter today.
Yes.
Jones. She's a bit angry with me today, so I'll take this opportunity to apologize. Please forgive me! But she's right, man. You know, all the girlfriend and wives of musicians. Come on, we need to give them a big round of applause. All
Yes,
around the world, everybody.
and the girls and men of other musicians who are girls and men, in whichever way direction people are
Exactly.
oriented. If you're surrounded by support, you have it made. I'm the luckiest musician on the planet because I grew up with parents who supported me so much. My mother found an audition for my first national tour when I was 15 years old. They came to all my gigs when I played in town in Los Angeles, and I know a lot of people didn't have that, and I never take that for granted. So you're right, we always have to cheer the people who support us. Thanks for sharing all of that. That's great.
But that what you're saying is very much making sense now, Dan, because knowing you, even though a little, I can see those traits of behavior, beautiful behavior of your parents, this support, have been part of your personality and brought you to where you are today. And
Oh, thank you.
you know, yeah,
That means so much to me because I do not come from a family with money. My parents did okay. They took good care of us. It was always safe, but they didn't go to college. They didn't have college degrees. I didn't have that kind of upbringing, but I grew up in a very loving home. My parents met when they were teenagers and lived until married till my mother passed away, and then my dad. But yeah, it makes a difference. And those of you who don't have that kind of support, don't ever give up. You've got to believe in yourself and support yourself first. That's what matters most, and you will attract the right people around you that will make up for it. I promise. Right, Oded?
this is very interesting because I totally agree. And in the end of the day, it sounds like a cliche, but this is the most precise thing. We this world and some currents in this world are some inner currents in us are pushing us down, and
Yes.
we need something to really work hard just to support ourselves, because we are our first and foremost important endorser. And you are right also by reaching out to other people who will then reflect at us and give us back what
Yeah.
we want to give to the universe and to receive.
Exactly.
And that's very spiritual.
Exactly. So let's do that. Why don't you first explain looping, then jump behind all your stuff and give everyone a demonstration so that we can reflect that on them and they can give you the same thing back.
Nice one. So I'm going to take you on a little tour on my gear. If you want to learn more and if you want to hear more, you can do it through my Patreon. In my Patreon, you can ask me everything, and I will explain to you step by step. But let's do it now, only on a nutshell. So, Andy.
And then I just want to say, Oded is going to put his Patreon in the comments later, and you musicians should check out Patreon. It could be very prosperous for you if you work it correctly.
Yeah. So, guys, I'm going to explain to you a little bit what's going on here. Everything runs through Ableton Live, and I have a click in my headphones, yeah?
And for
Now,
those who don't know,
I have a click
Oded,
of 4/4.
Oded, I'm sorry.
By the way, Dan, I cannot hear you now.
Okay, never mind. It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine?
Yeah. I'll
Sorry.
ask after. I'll ask questions after.
Yeah, I'm going to do. So, I want to loop my voice now, yeah? So let's say I put some delay, and then I'm starting to loop now. Now, remember, everything goes through Ableton Live. My loops, yeah, it's now going through Ableton Live. Now I want to go to my V-drum, and I got sound here. Again, the V-drum is also plugged to the Ableton Live, and I'm going to loop it with the pedal. Let's do it. So this is running now. So I got the a loop that I did with my mouth. Now I can play, and I got the click in my headphones. Now I'm gonna add a pre-recorded loop, that I choose and prepared, and I'm gonna add it now. And then I'm gonna sing in French because it's been a bit boring, right? It's just too simple. So let's make it harder. Are you ready for some French in rap? Some rap in French? Some French songs?
Oui, oui.
Pourquoi, baby, baby, tu es loin de moi? Baby, baby, sois gentil une fois. Quand tu me fais l'amour, crois quand même que j'y vivrai toujours. Et peut-être c'est mon audace qui casse. L'intimité qu'on est à face à face. Je m'en compte plus de toi de même. Prends le temps. Now I wanna add another tension. One, two, now I bring it on. Go! Oh! Ah! Oh! Yeah. So that was it. I hope that I hope that I could help.
Yeah, that was
And I'm with
great.
you.
That was great. And I'll probably ask you to jump back there again in a moment. But for those who don't know, especially drummers and percussionists, because I think they may be a little less familiar with Ableton Live than other musicians, can you tell everyone what Ableton Live is and how it's useful, especially for drummers?
Yes, even though I'm not endorsed with Ableton Live, I will gladly share with you because those guys saved my life. Man, this is, you know what, I could not, to be honest, I could not do what I do without Ableton Live. Ableton Live, I guess 15 years ago,
Wow.
they started because when I was 20, so 25 years ago, when all the DJ became really big, I was living in Tel Aviv, my hometown, and DJs, and I said, man, the drums is so important. I want to be the DJ and the drummer. How I'm going to do it? So I was starting to work on electronic music projects, but the problem I was working with Logic, but you have to respect what the playback that you create, so you are not really creating in front of the people.
Right.
And then I discovered Ableton pretty late. I knew about it, but then, long story short, after I started busking in London, after half a year, I said, okay, it's time to get to Ableton. And then I said, man, this is insane. Because the first half a year I was playing only drum solo and a little glockenspiel that I have here, the same Glock. And I'm going to play you a song with the Glock. But then, and somehow it was working, because I was so eager to play. But then I brought in the Ableton, and I remember I felt, this is amazing. If I can control the loop. So basically, Ableton allows you to say, mainly to say, hey guys, I want to play a 4/4, and I know that here this preset is house, and here I got the clap, yeah? So the clap will come on the one of the next bar, yeah? Now I got the click. Now I want to get a sound that will add to the tension, yeah? Now I want to get a funny singer singing something to get the crowd going, so I decide here.
A place
And
to
now I'm
stay.
free.
Get your
Playing.
booty on the floor tonight. Make my day. A place to stay. Get your
Now I want
booty
another
on the
sound,
floor
so I choose it.
tonight.
Boom.
Make my day.
Now let's go to the
Make
water
my
bottle.
day. Make my day. Make my day.
The
Make
water
my
bottle!
day. Make my day. Make my
Then I want to
day.
drop the beat.
Make my
I
day.
decide 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's
Very cool.
that's what Ableton allows you to do, yeah?
Very
You
cool.
are
So you could be a one-man bar mitzvah band.
that was my dream, man.
And when you said,
you stole my idea, man. It's crazy.
when you said you were in a Jewish wedding band in England, the first thing that came to my mind is, what do the prayers sound like in Hebrew with the English accent? I don't know.
Yeah, well,
Baruch atah Adonai.
yeah, now. But you know what? This was a beautiful time because those guys from the Jewish community in London, the bands, they really hugged me and said, hey, come and play with us. And they really took care of me. This is something, give me the shiver, because they were really taking care of me. I was new in London, and they say, no, you're not going to stay alone tonight, and come and play tomorrow, and do you need food? And amazing.
What kind of stuff did you play, and what was their musicianship like?
What I was playing, I was playing Jewish wedding. It's like, it's called Freilach. It's called, I'll show you.
Cool.
So basically, so this is one beat. I think it's called Freilach. Then you got you go, and then you got the sign from the musical director, and then you go rock. Beautiful song, by the way. I loved some song. I don't want to sing something that I don't, but there was some beautiful song. And then you had what we call Mizrahi from Israel Oriental, which is...
Wow!
Now this rhythm is interesting because this rhythm was invented in Israel. It's an adaptation of what the darbuka making. The darbuka is usually making, but then you put it to the hi-hat, yeah, and then you put the snare. And 95% of the popular music in Israel these days is this beat.
Wow, how interesting! I have a question for you.
Yes, please.
Are you set up right now to do your famous version of Roxanne?
Yes.
Oh, can you do it, please?
You want this one?
Yes, please. Everyone will love it. I promise, folks. If you haven't seen this, get ready to lose your shit, basically.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, cool. This is Oded Kafri and his version of Roxanne. It's marvelous. Check this out.
Thanks for the idea, Dan.
Absolutely. It's one of my favorites. Have fun like in the video of you on the street.
you. I wanna talk down to you. I have to tell you just how I feel. I will share you with another. I know my mind is made up, so put away your makeup. Don't you want someone to tell you again if you find a way? Roxanne, you don't have to put up a red light. Roxanne, you don't have to put on a red light. You don't have to put on.
Well, all right.
Yeah! Did you folks dig that? Oded, that was
Thank you.
great. Yeah, that was great. So a lot of things came to mind while I was watching you play, and I've watched you play so much over the years of doing Drum Talk TV, but I want to talk to you about influences, and before we do, I want to tell you what I hear and see. There are very, very few drummers who actually don't sound like anybody else. Very few. And the reason why is because there's so many drummers that are so good that drummers choose to emulate them. So it comes out in their music over generations, right? But
Yeah.
there's two drummers in particular that I don't think anybody sounds like, yet I hear both of them in your playing. I hear Bill Bruford, who to me is the most unique drummer ever. Bill Bruford and Stuart Copeland, if they had a baby.
Sure.
But I'm sure you have all kinds of other influences. I hear other stuff in there too, but those two really stand out because their playing is so unique. But who are some of your first influences, and who are some of your biggest influences besides me? Because I know that it's not always the same. Your first isn't always your biggest. It happens to be for me, but I know it's not always like that. So what's your influence arc as a drummer over the years, and how old were you when you started playing?
Okay, I was 10 years old at our bomb shelter in Tel Aviv, and I was heavily influenced by Israeli drummers who were on TV and in rock bands. and it was very rocky and very straight ahead rock. So Sami from Tislam, Jean-Jacques Goldberg, Jean-Paul Zimbris, Alon Hillel, those names says a lot to the folks in Israel, but not to the people worldwide. And those were rocky drummers with some kind of a twist, sometimes a bit of course, Middle Eastern twist. Some drummers came from France, some drummers came from America. Same to this, I listened to Blood, Sweat and Tears from my father, Bobby Colombi. I was very young, but I was amazed. And I was not a drummer yet, so... And I listened to Pink Floyd, to Nick Mason,
Oh.
Yeah, a lot.
I never knew that.
Yeah, a lot. And... but I was not a drummer then. Back then, I was just a kid who was getting more and more crazy about music. Mm-hmm. And I was 10 when I started to play drums. And I was 14 when I got serious about it. And I think at this point, there was, again, some important Israeli drummers. And Stuart Copeland, definitely, because I was 12 when the police were already not existing as a band, but we were listening to them because they came with the best hits, So you had Roxanne first song, you had Can't Stand Losing You second song, and all those best hits. And Stuart Copeland was there, and I listened to it. I remember listening to Roxanne and walking on the moon and basically flying, something in the voice of Sting, and this I felt like I was flying.
Interesting.
But I never picked up what Stuart Copeland really did. I just listened a lot to Police and then later to Sting a lot. So anything. Then came, I think, heavy influence in the same time and amazement. That's Omar Hakim with Sting, Dream of the Blue Turtle and Bring on the Night. By the way, any drummer, any musician who still don't know Bring on the Night, that's a live album production where Sting, after the Police, gathered with 5 of the best jazz musicians from America. They happened to be black, he happened to be white, and that was also a beautiful band, and 2 chorists. And this was just, for me and for few others, this is the best band ever.
Branford they played was in that band too, right?
Branford brought... He kind of apparently hooked everyone.
Yeah.
So you got Omar Hakim, Branford Marsalis, Daryl Jones on bass, today with the Stones. Kenny Kirkland, rest in peace, and Branford, and two vocalists, which I cannot pronounce precisely their names, so I won't say it.
Okay.
But this band, understanding that you can play rock with a singer, but it's got jazz orientation, and it's very, very smart. Sting brought to the table intelligence, knowledge. He was a teacher. And parallel to this, Wekel, Dave Wekel, and with Masterplan and Chick Corea, this was like, what is this guy is doing? I can't believe that it's one man. Yeah. I think that Masterplan, till that day, is the most important solo album for a drummer. And I think that Dave Wekel is, for me and for many, some kind of a Jimi Hendrix of the drums. People used to say, oh, too technical. Yes, he's a technical monster, but it's go further than that. It's very musical and full respect. So those guys, but this is a level, I was 14 or 15 to listen to Omar Hakim and Dave Wekel. It's like, how can I get even close to this, because they were so
It's almost
shining.
Discouraging in a way.
Yes. But I was attracted to this, to the charisma of Omar Hakim, starting with this Shadows in the Rain, this historical way of starting the Sting, and Wekel with these 10 limbs in the same time, and the dream. That was the dream.
Interesting. And why and what at 10 years old? What happened at 10 that made you were already a music fan, you're already falling in love with like Blood, Sweat and Tears and other music you mentioned. What was the spark that said, okay, I want to play drums?
This is a very good question, and this is a very deep question. I think that people choose to go to music from a certain uncomfortness in life.
Yes.
They can't content with everyday life. Maybe their grade in school sucks. Maybe home is too edgy.
They have something
maybe they
traumatic happen.
Yeah. And I remember myself before the music understanding very clearly that I'm not going to be a 9-to-5 guy. That was, I think I was 6 when I knew it. I'm not going to be a 9-to-5. There's no way, you know? And then when music, and I was looking to excel in something, I was pretty good in sport, but I was not a champion. And that was very hard for me to realize that I'm not going to be the next whatever. And then came music. And in music, first of all, competition is not the first and most important thing. And I like it because in the end of the day, I don't find our life to be a competition. And that's the beauty in music. And then you have time to express yourself. And, you know, Dan, till that day, you know, my daughter is 9 months old. I see how she's consuming music. It's such a huge mistake to think that, music is a luxury after you took care of your finance, after you took care of your home and your profession and your insurance, maybe you can play a little bit of music. This is a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Guys, we are musicians. People, every person consume music a little bit less than food. It's true, but not much less.
Yeah. No, that's great. Folks, if you have questions, I'll be checking comments over here. When I look over here, I'm not watching a hockey game. I'm looking at our show, looking at comments. Ashish in Nepal has a question, and then I have another question. I'll watch for more. So you'll have to think back, Oded. But Ashish asked, what fills did you just play in the solo? So I don't know exactly which ones he's referring to, but
yeah.
Do you want to articulate some of the rudiments you were putting together? I heard a lot of triplet work and stuff playing against each other and things.
Yeah, I can try and explain that if you take, these are linears, basically. Let's see, if you are playing a linear groove, so the tempo is you want to go, you play simple 16. Let me put my headphones, and then let's say that you do instead of 2/16 on the snare drum, you do bass drum. So, and then all I did was snare, bass drum, tom, bass drum. So.
What?
Then I might break it to, like you said, triole or sixtole. It's a good exercise to try and keep the hi-hat steady, so you know where you are and your bandmate know where you are.
Yeah, and it's like taking a rudiment with all 4 limbs and then distributing it around your kit differently while you're actually kind of playing the same thing.
Sure.
And that's what changes the musicality of it. I want to mention also when you were playing before, you lost 2 or 3 times a stick. And you're so great at, like, if no one was watching, they would never know. After 50 years of playing drums, if I lose a stick, like an idiot, I'm still like, and I'm chasing it with my hand and forgetting I have sticks right here in a bag next to me. And if that stick totally gets away, then I go, oh yeah, I have sticks. I don't even think for a moment to reach for another stick first. I'm too busy watching that stick fall into the Bermuda Triangle, just falling away to nowhere, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm part of my nature is being messy, so I have to be able to recompensate, you know. And it's not so bad to lose a stick.
No, not at all. Not at all. Let's see if anyone else has questions. You're welcome, Ashish. Good evening, Russia. Jake John Berger. Renato, how are you? Haven't seen you in a while. Are there specific bands that you enjoy listening to that are more contemporary, that maybe have only been out for the last 5 or 10 years, that you've fallen in love with?
Great question.
Thanks.
I am... how would I say it? I'll be very honest. It's hard to thrill, not me, but to thrill someone who's been listening to music all his life. And so we need to work hard to find new things that excite us, or maybe old thing. And I don't want to go back to the obvious. I don't want to go back to my Sting albums or to Pink Floyd. I've done that.
Yeah.
I have, for example, in the Corona, I got totally hooked. This is not a new band and not a recent band, but this is a real experience. I got totally hooked on a French drummer who is the French Steve Gadd.
Oh, wow.
And then I once sent you a video of him and you shared it. His name is Andres Ciccarelli.
Oh, yeah.
Today he's about to be 75 years old. And this guy, first of all, everybody check him out. This guy, when I moved to France, I was 16 years old. We didn't speak about it, but I did move to France when I was 16 years old. And that's when I became serious about drumming. But everybody was speaking about him, and I didn't understand why.
What's the big deal, right?
Yeah, because I was looking for the flashiness. You remember Omar Hakim and Wekel and stuff. And then I understood, today I understand that you might say that the French doctrine of drumming in some way is less flashy, but with more accent on finesse, color, and a statement. Take, for example, the most famous, maybe, French drummer, Manu Katché.
Yeah.
What Manu Katché did in 1986, just after Omar Hakim was at the peak, Manu Katché was recruited by Tony Levin to come and record an album, historical album with Peter Gabriel, named So. And he was an antidote to all this drum hero. He could never play so flashy and technical as Omar Hakim, never close to Dave Weckl, but he could groove, and he brought this African accent.
Yes.
And and that's, you might say that French influence is very important. So Andres Ciccarelli is, I suspect that Manu Katché, for example, listened to him. And Andres Ciccarelli is the son of a drummer. And he was educated to play lots of snare and lots of brushes. Now, guys, I'm going to share with you an amazing tip for your life. If you guys going to spend more time on brushes than you spend usually, you're going to end up with having a fantastic feel. Because, Andy, kannst du ein bisschen näher kommen? Nur ein bisschen. Du schauen, ja, und Vorsicht mit der Kabel, ja.
Good.
Hier, komm hier. Schauen, ja. You guys see the brushes, yeah?
The cowbell.
Can you see the brushes?
The cowbell is in the way.
The cowbell is in the way. Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah. If Andy could get closer, like more on top of you.
Okay. Komm nur ein bisschen hier. Good. On the shot. Yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
Okay, can you see my hand on the drums?
Yes.
Okay. Aber Vorsicht mit dem Cymbal. Okay.
Yeah, he's got to go under the cymbal. There you go.
It's okay.
I didn't want you to dismantle your whole setup.
It's okay. So, brushes. So if you play brushes. So basically, brushes is the antidote to drumming. And when you play brushes, try not to play percussive. Try to play
finesse.
Yeah, and to caress the drum. Yeah, let's see. Let's a new Latin groove I've started to develop. So, yeah. Now pay attention, when I'm playing this, I'm trying not to stroke, I'm trying to caress.
You're just like gracing it, barely gracing it.
Yeah. Now the interesting thing, if you... Now if you're gonna play... few minutes with the brushes, then you're gonna move to the 6, yeah? Light 6, your hand.
The dexterity translates. Yeah, the dexterity translates, absolutely. That was great. That was wonderful. Thanks for doing that.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very, very inspired. I need to practice.
Me too.
Yeah, no, that was great. You know, you mentioned, of course, Manu Katché, and he did just an amazing job on that album. I truly believe, as much as Peter and as much as Tony Levin, he is the sound of that album.
Yeah.
So, and Stuart Copeland plays just hi-hat on Red Rain, which is funny.
Yeah.
And Manu also does amazing performance on the Tears for Fears album, Sowing the Seeds of Love, on the song Bad Man Song. That song, Bad Man Song, is one of my favorite things to play, and it's also where I first heard the female vocalist Oleta Adams, who they found and put on their album, and she's just amazing. That song has, and she's playing piano and singing. I've seen her do it live with them, and Manu's drumming in that is just fantastic. It's exactly what you said. It's groove, but it's got that African flavor, West African flavor as well. It's just so good. It's a great example. Really great example.
And not to mention the full live album, Secret World Tour.
Yes.
Peter Gabriel. Oh man, this is like ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. Great stuff. Great stuff.
I mean, this period, of course, you cannot speak about this period without mentioning Vinnie Colaiuta and Sting. And this is lately there was a video of Vinnie Colaiuta playing this 7/8 that Todd Zuckerman shared. It's insane.
Yeah, and I recently watched a concert of Vinnie and Jed Lynch on drums playing the Rock, Paper, Scissors tour that Peter and Sting did together. Just fantastic. Yeah. You saw that?
I saw a little bit, yes. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's like two bands on stage. Sometimes it's everybody. Sometimes it's Vinnie with Sting. Sometimes it's Jed with just Peter. Sometimes it's Peter doing a Sting song, Sting doing a Peter song. Just all over the place. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have an announcement for everybody. We might as well break the news and tell them. So Oded and I are developing a new series that we'll let you know more about real soon. But basically, it's going to be Oded out and about around Hamburg or wherever he decides to go. And he's going to be busking, and we're going to stream it live on Drum Talk TV in two different ways. Sometimes it'll simply be Oded playing out, and we'll be streaming it, sharing it to the Drum Talk TV page. Sometimes it'll be like this, and he'll talk with me in between songs, and maybe we'll get people from the audience to give their thoughts on what the fark they just saw. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we're still working out some details, but watch for that. It's going to be Oded Kafri, the man on the street for Drum Talk TV.
We're gonna bring the drums to the field, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's time for, before we go, it's time for the Oded Kafri fun fact. Ready? Here it comes. So when you're not busking, when you're not playing on the streets, when you're not recording, when you're not shedding, when you're not doing anything that has to do anything with music, what do you like to do? I'm sure spend time with your daughter and everything, but that's kind of obvious. But what do you have any other hobbies or interests other than being a new parent?
Yeah, I like to meditate. I like to read some books, but I don't read enough. I like to ride my bicycle.
Nice.
I like to spend time with friends. And I actually like to, let's say, in my own little world, to philosophize and to go deep into human behavior phenomena.
Nice.
For example, I will share with you something that has been on my mind today, for example.
Okay.
Are you up for it?
Yes, absolutely. Let's get spiritual.
So, you say the word. It's amazing. So, look, I was thinking today about spiritualism.
Oh, wait.
About what is the... Okay, there is spiritualism. I'm totally believing.
Had to turn my bright lights off for this.
Sorry. So, let's speak spiritualism. What is spiritualism? For me, oh my God, I thought about the number 76, and I went and I saw an advertising in the streets says 76. So there is something, right? Oh my God, I thought about Drum Talk TV, and Dan called me the morning, yeah? And so now this happens to me a lot. It happens to you, and more kind of crazy things. And you said, what's going on? There is some kind of... And then I think that spiritualism, you can translate it into there is a God, which is totally fine. And then I think that in the end of the day, for me today, my revelation from today, this is encouragement to tell you, I'm with you, God, the Spirit, the cosmos, as long as you are directing your efforts and energy towards towards helping the other, towards maybe helping the weak. And here I know that I definitely in the right address, because you've done so much, and it's part of your agenda to support and endorse, let's call it special community in special needs.
Thank you.
Through Drum Talk TV, Dan. And it was always very clear that you are not only into flashy drumming and who's the best drummer. You were always very, very attentive to people with special needs who drums. And I find this where is my direction, you know?
Yeah.
And on top of that, I would like to add that spiritualism in this way, helping your brother man, helping your people without asking for a return, without asking for any materialistic return, just do it.
Yes.
And then you will get double.
Yes.
And nowadays, for example, I come from Israel, and there's a lot of instability against the government, for the government, and I have the impression that we have to find ourselves in a place where we are saying, like, you know what, I'm not playing this materialistic game anymore. I'm more interested in something else, and people need it. Yeah, and people are we are so flooded with materialistic, let's say, attraction, values, attractions, temptation, pressure. You know. What is power this day? Power is money. Everybody know money is power. But is it that so? Is this what makes a man strong? You know?
Right.
Think about it. Think, why do we play music? When we fell in love with music first time, when we were 4 or 5 or 10 or 17, we fell in love with something spiritual.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with money. That's beautiful. The purpose, the meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose in life is to share it. And you've done that, and you do it in a really big way. And I want to thank you for sharing your gift, because when I see, and people, you'll see if you haven't seen it yet, when you see videos of Oded playing, and when I watch this and I see the crowd of people around you, like they are at a full-blown rock concert, but it's on the streets, and it's you alone with your gift, sharing it, and people are going freaking nuts about it. It's great, and that's what a gift is all about. That's what music is all about. It's definitely what drumming's all about, because no one's bouncing to the guitar player. Sorry, no one's bouncing to the saxophone player. Sorry, let's just keep it real. No one's bouncing to the lead singer. It's the drums. You know why? Because the drums are doing what's right in here. We all have a natural rhythm, whether we've discovered it or not. And it's moments like you going out on the street with your gift and waking that up in people. And it's very beautiful.
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome. Thank you. Hang on the line with me. Everybody, watch for the announcement. In fact, sign up for our newsletter. It'll be in our newsletter. Sign up for the newsletter. There's a sign up button on the Drum Talk TV Facebook page. And we don't.
Dan, maybe we should do one last. Maybe should play one last. Or we don't have time.
One last jam.
Yeah, one last music. One last tune.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna do an outro with Oded, and I want to tell everybody thank you so much for hanging out with Oded and myself right now, whether it's live or whether you're watching on the archive, whether you're watching it after it's been on YouTube or Instagram or whatever. And thank you for following what we do and support
And
Oded. He's going to put his Patreon in the comments there.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's time to get material.
Yeah, go ahead and definitely do that. And let's close out with Oded doing a crazy jam. Are you going to just make something up as you go, or do you want to fill us in and let us know what you're doing? And either is fine with me.
I'm gonna
play. I know. Wait, play everything you know how to do in 3 minutes. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
As long as you include the water bottle.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's do it. Okay. So I'm gonna do it a last one. Okay.
Okay. Check this out, everyone. It's gonna be fun. I promise. Auntie, lower the camera.
Okay.
Yeah!
Thank you very much, Dan.
That was awesome. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Watch for more of Oded live on Drum Talk TV. And Oded, hang out with me after I disconnect from the audience, and we'll both wave goodbye. Thanks, everybody, so much for following what we do. Tell Andy to lower the camera. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody.